Hello, hello, happy Tuesday. I wanted to share today a little bit of takeaways from Sunday. And when I went to church, our pastor was preaching, and part of what he was talking about was how he knows, how God knows. He knows what we're going through. He knows how it affects us. He knows how we feel about it. He knows what we want from it. He knows what we don't want from it. And I just wanted to share my thoughts in a scripture that I looked up this morning that gives me a lot of hope and really makes me do that. It makes me take a deep breath because well, I'll share with that later, but he knows what we hope for. He knows what we don't want. He knows what we're fearful of. And you know, this life is filled with afflictions and sadness and happy times, of course, too. But during those afflictions, during those times of worry and anxiety and problems, sometimes we feel really alone or misunderstood. And I've been there before and felt like no one would understand what I'm going through. No one would care to hear about it, or it's just all me. I'm the problem. You know, it's just, there's so much to go through and worry about and be anxious about. And just because we are Christians doesn't mean that that's all taken away. We're still going to experience those things because we live in this world that we do. But, you know, having that hope in that phrase that God knows doesn't necessarily take away any of the pain or worry and anxiety of whatever you're going through, whatever affliction or whatever pain or heartache or troubled time you're going through. It doesn't, that hope in God knows, He knows, does not take away the pain. But I do think that it's got a purpose and it's got a timeline, and we may not know that right away. And we may not know it for a long time. And some things we may not know ever. But a lot of the things, I think that if we just put our hope and trust in Him, that it will come to light if it's supposed to. And when it does, we will wonder why we questioned Him in the first place, because His plan is the perfect one. And whether we see I should go down this path, this is what I want, this is the best way, it may not be that way in His eyes. And so He leads us down that way. He will work it for good. I believe He will work it for good. The evil in the world is so scary these days, but I think that He will work situations for good. And I think that, you know, sometimes I wonder, why do things happen? Why? And of course there's terrible, terrible things. And I've been blessed enough in my life to not have been touched by those evil, evil things. And I pray that continues for me, my family and friends. And, you know, but there's been moments in all of our lives, I'm sure you can relate, that we wonder why. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did my plan not work out? I really thought it was a good one. And I think that it happens because as we go through life and things are going well, things are going good, what do we do? What do you do? We put God and our relationship with Him and His Word on the back burner, and we don't go to it. We don't lean on it. We don't try to put off any characteristics of it as much. We just put it on the back burner. I know I do. Can you relate to that? Do you do that too? I know that I'm not alone in that. So I think that some things happen for us to be brought back to Him, so that we will lean on Him, so we rely on Him, so we will go to Him first, so that we will ask His opinion first, and so that we can just, He could be our number one again. And I also think that it forms our character. And I know the things that I've gone through in the past that have really caused me heartache, heartbreak, and pain and misery and depression and sadness and anger have a purpose, and they have shaped and formed who I am today and will continue to. And I think that I really try hard to make sure that in any situation, I try to look for the silver lining. And I think that if we can look for the silver lining in anything that we can do or do or that happens to us, there's that little glimmer of hope and that light at the end of the tunnel, and then we can remember that He knows what's happening. He knows how we feel about it. He knows how it affects us, and He knows the outcome, and He does bring us through the storm and into the sunshine, out of the valley and onto the mountaintop. We just have to be patient, and we have to trust in Him. And I know this is hard to think about when I think about the really horrible situations out there, situations that I've never even had happen to me or known someone who has happened to. But you know, I've heard stories of other people who have been through tremendously painful things that have leaned on Him in those times and have done amazingly well with recovering from those afflictions. So anyway, I looked up this verse after thinking about this sermon on Sunday, and I just wanted to share it with you. It's Psalms 55:22, and it says, "Cast your burdens upon the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never allow the righteous to be shaken." And I love that because not only does it give me hope and make me like I did a while ago, but it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I can go ahead and just throw all my cares up to Him. You know, but how do we do it sometimes? Can you relate to this? Sometimes we cast all our cares on Him, right? And we still hold on to some of it. I saw this a long time ago, and it has stuck in my head so much. I don't even know where I saw it. But let's cast all our cares on Him. But yet we're still willing to hold on to some of it. We're not willing to trust all the way. But I think that when we trust all the way and let all of it go, we're blessed more. Maybe the process goes faster. I really don't know. That timeline shortens. I don't know. Our character is formed. Blessings are seen and felt, I believe. And you get that release of that heaviness on your chest because you have let it all go and not just held on to some of it. I absolutely love that visual of it because I saw that years ago and I don't even know where, but it's such a good one. Like, yeah, sure, I gave it to God, but I kept some of it for myself. And we'll get so much more blessing if we just release it. We'll get so much more peace and calmness in our hearts if we do that. So that verse just gives me so much hope and happiness and less anxiety. So I wanted to share that with you today. And if you're going through something, if you're feeling alone, misunderstood, mistreated, sad, mad, angry, whatever you're going through, I invite you to read Psalms 55:22 and to think about how much He knows what's going on with you. If no one else is there for you, or you feel like no one else is there for you, know that He knows and He is there for you. It reminds me of, my screen just got really dark. It reminds me of Footprints. I'm so sorry, it just went black. I don't know if I'm still on. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. It reminds me of that poem, Footprints, where it talks about you going through life and there's two sets of footprints, you know, you and God. And you look back at your life, and during those difficult times in life, you see only one set of footprints, and you wonder, well, why was I walking alone at that time? Those were the most difficult points in my life, and I was walking alone. Where were you, God? And He responds in this poem by saying, those times in your life that were difficult, that you see only one footstep, you. I didn't plan on getting emotional, but it means I was carrying you. Those are my footprints, because I was carrying you through those difficult times. And that is just so beautiful to me, because it means He's there. And I believe that, and I want to pass that on to anybody out there who needs to hear that today. So if you needed to hear that, I would love, love, love for you to like and comment so that I could just have your name in my head and my heart, and I'll go through and just pray for everyone whose name pops up on this thread. And if you know someone else needs to hear this, I invite you to share it so that they can get this message and know that they're not alone, and know that God is trying to carry them, is carrying them, and will continue, and to invite them to let it all go to God and not just hold on to a little part of it. So that is all I had for today. I hope that I gave you some hope and a place to go to get more hope. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.